Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we'll look at how to chain the comparison operators. So chaining the operators is indeed a really interesting feature in Python, and it's the ability to chain multiple comparison operations to perform more complex tests. So let's test them out practically and you will understand what I'm talking about. So suppose you, in the previous video, we did discuss what these equal and not equal and greater than sign means and how to use them in your conditions and everything. If you haven't watched that, I will encourage you to watch it. I will link it down in the description. So in that previous video, we did check the comparison checks, but that was one at a time. Now, what if you want to check multiple things at one time? Suppose you want to check if 2 is if 1 is less than 2 as well as the 2 is less than 3. So you can just write it like this, and this is what the chaining of comparison operators means. So if I press shift and enter, you will see that it will return true because 1 is indeed less than 2 and 2 is indeed less than 3. Suppose if I do the same thing, but instead of 2 I replace it with 4, you would see that it will return false because 1 is indeed less than 4, but 4 is not less than 3. So in that case, I have to change this operator in order to get true. So 1 is less than 4, and 4 is indeed greater than 3. So if I press shift enter, you will see that it will return true. So this is what the chaining of operator means. But I'm not here to show you this kind of chaining operator because we do have a better way to do this because it's a little bit confusing. Now at this specific moment you do know what's going on with your code, but what if you come back after 1 month and you look at this code, you will get confused. So there is a better way to do the same thing, and that is with and or operator as well as the not operator. So if you're willing to check two conditions and you want to get true if both of the conditions are true, so you will use and. If you're willing to get a true if both of the conditions you are checking is true, is true, and you want to get true at that point, so you will use and. And if you are willing to get true if one of the condition is true, so you will use the or. So let's practically look at that and you will understand what I'm talking about. So suppose you want to check the same thing, that 1 is less than 3, 1 is less than 2, and do notice right over here the color correction or the color changing as soon as I write and. So 1 is less than 2 and 2 is less than 3. So you can see that it's more readable than the previous statement or than the previous condition check. So if I press shift and enter, you would see that it will return true. In this case, in the second case, where we wrote down like 1 is less than 2, 1 is less than 4, and 4 is less than 3. So it will return false because this condition is true and this is not true. So for the end to work or for the end to return true, both of the condition must be true. And now here I want to mention something. Some people would like to write this condition like this. So it's the same thing, it's just we have added some more brackets to the condition. It won't change the result of this operation. You will get the same result with the brackets or without the brackets. But it's just some people think that this way the code is more readable, while I like not to add these brackets because I think the when somebody add the brackets, it's more things to worry about and it's more thing to confuse about. So I just like it simple like that. As far as you are concerned, you can use it with brackets or without brackets. It completely depends on your coding style and the way you like things. So That's settled. If that's settled, let's look at the OR operator. So let's get the same examples and let's look at that. So in order for the OR to return true, if one condition is true, it will return true, as well as with the two conditions, it will also return true. So in this case, both of the conditions are true, so it will return true. In this case, one condition is true, and let's see what does the OR returns. OR returns true as well. In case of one condition true, the OR returns true as well, because 1 is less than 4, but 4 is not less than 3. Now let's make both of the condition false by making 1 is greater than 4 and 4 is greater than 3. Now in this case, the OR chained operator return false because both of the conditions are false. So 1 is not greater than 4 and 4 is not greater than 3. Obviously it will return false. So we have looked at AND operator as well as OR operator. Now let's look at the last one, and that is the NOT operator. So what the NOT operator do is, if we are willing to reverse something, like suppose something is true and we want to make it false, and something is false, we want to make it true, there we use NOT operator. So suppose this condition was true if I run this, but if I put not in front of that and add it to the bracket, you will see that it will return false now, because this condition returned true, but this NOT operator reverted that to false. So now let's look at the false as well. Let's get this one somewhere. So this was true if I run that. So this is false if I run that. But if I put inside the NOT operator and press Shift and Enter, you would see that it will make it true. So you would say, what kind of silly person would use this NOT operator? Well, indeed, sometimes you would need this NOT operator in case of some conditions and something like that. It will come in future. We'll discuss that in great detail, but just do note that if you're willing to reverse something from true to false or false to true, you can use NOT operator. So this is pretty much it for this video. I hope you learned about the chain comparison operators. We will discuss these comparison operators in great detail in few next videos, where we will discuss the if conditions and while loops and stuff like that. So till next time, enjoy hacking, stay cheeky breaky, peace out.